5 seconds to go. Start. This hints at a critical mass accruing at the diplomatic level. Indeed, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told CNN that Putin is willing to negotiate. It is tempting to conjecture that the dark clouds are dissipating and the sun is struggling to break through. So is the Indian travel advisory a case of delayed reflex action? The answer is the current situation is still fraught with grave uncertainties. The 50-minute press conference at the Kremlin Tuesday evening after a 3-4 meeting between Putin and visiting German Chancellor Olaf Scholz clarified that the tensions in Russia's relations with the West cannot dissipate easily as the two sides radically differ on the fundamental question of what constitutes security. Simply put, Washington insists on the primacy of absolute security that allows the right of individual states to choose ways of ensuring their own security and joining any military unions or alliances. On the contrary, Moscow invokes various post Cold War European covenants on collective security which enshrine the key principles of equal and indivisible security and uphold the liability of every country not to strengthen one's security at the expense of the security of other countries. This contradiction cannot be wished away and it poses a conceptual hurdle to reaching common ground apropos of Moscow's December proposals on security guarantees. Equally, perhaps, there is a criticality in the situation within Ukraine itself which is hidden from view. The regime is shaky and is adrift, speaking in multiple voices, and the political climate remains combustible with the rising insecurity and growing tendencies of authoritarianism. Kiev balks at attempts to force it to implement the Minsk agreements, especially its simplified version known as the Steinmeier formula, named after the present German president, calling for elections to be held in the separatist held region under OSCE, Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe supervision, and providing for a self governing status for those territories. Russia complains that the West failed to put pressure on Kiev to move in that direction. Then there are the dark forces of neo Nazi extreme nationalists with covert external support who wield big street power and are virulently anti Russian. With whom a backlash may take is the X factor. The worst case scenario could be ethnic cleansing or genocide directed against ethnic Russians, which is already happening sporadically. Equally, the fascist forces may stage some incident against the self proclaimed Donbass republics and force Russia to intervene to prevent a humanitarian catastrophe on its borders. Moscow has kept ready the parliamentary approval for recognizing the two breakaway Donbass republics just in case a need arises. From the Russian perspective, the two most powerful warriors are patience and time, to borrow the words of Leo Tolstoy. Things are on a razor's edge. India's stance at the Quad ministerial last week in Canberra is commendable as apparent from External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar's reported hesitancy to identify with the US hyperbole about Russian aggression and to the strong advocacy to insert a Russia template into its so called Indo Pacific strategy. According to Australian media, if the Quad joint statement failed to condemn Russia, it was solely on account of India's rejection of it. Stop.